Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, share and inspire, and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You're currently watching the Sunday afternoon drawing group with me, Jason Leeser, which is hosted every Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern. You may be beaming in from YouTube or Facebook, or maybe you're listening to the podcast, but you can always get the latest event schedule and notifications at the official Reinventing the Tattoo community, found at both app stores, the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, or directly at community.reinventingthetattoo.com. This is working for you, please let us know in the comments and the chats, and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. All Reinventing the Tattoo network shows, art jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, webinars, all of it can be enjoyed on demand and found in the library, as well as the YouTube and podcast channels. There's countless tattoo and art rabbit holes for you to dive into. It's perfect for the front room of the studio or to entertain your tattoo clients while they're getting worked on. In fact, we're even beaming out 4 channels 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can access that by going to reinventing247.com. We have some weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into, starting on Sundays at 1 p.m. with me, Jason Leeser, followed directly at 9 p.m. with the Tattoo Weekly with Lauren Gregory, Gabe Ripley, and Jake Meeks from the Fireside Tattoo Network. This is followed on Mondays at 9 a.m. with the Early Bird Drawing Group with Kier. And then Mondays at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Guy Aitchison himself. Tuesdays, we have 10 a.m. with Ricardo Sertivant, a very good friend of mine, extremely talented artist and one hell of a tattooer. He hosts a drawing group every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Wednesdays at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley. Thursdays at 10 a.m., we have another subscriber exclusive with Kier, who once again is focusing on fundamentals, and all skill levels and apprentices are encouraged to attend. Thursdays at 12 noon, we have the Tattoo Collecting podcast with Fawn Baker and Jordan Ruckus. We have some upcoming real world events that we're going to encourage everyone to, attend if they feel comfortable doing so. If not, we'll be doing lots of live streaming, so might not be that big of an issue. Starting February 5th through 6th, Reinventing the Tattoo will be live from the Red Tree Gallery and True Tube's headquarters in Columbus, Ohio, where we will be doing nightly art jams. We'll be having some seminars from some incredible artists. We'll be doing some live tattooing, and there's going to be a lot more information about that on the way, so please stay tuned, as we're currently getting the definitive schedule for that together now. April 11th through 14th, there will be the Inspiring Tours in New Hampshire with Sean Barber and Nick Baxter. This year's is currently sold out. Please go to http://inspiring.tours to get on the wait list for next year. These are incredible. They are very small art-focused groups where Sean and Nick will take you out and they will go over their process of painting with you live and help give you some tips and tricks to help better improve your art. May 20th through 22nd, there's the Hell City Columbus Tattoo Convention in Columbus, Ohio. June 3rd through 5th, there's the New Deadly Tattoo Convention in Calgary, Canada, which is lining up to be one heck of an incredible show. July 8th through 10th, 2022, we have the Rock River Tattoo Art Expo with a whole bunch of Reinventing the Tattoo track artists that will be there. It's going to be at a great venue, and it's going to be super easy to get to from anywhere. So please stay tuned for more details on that as well. July 29th through 31st, 2022, we have the Rubber City Tattoo Invitational in Akron, Ohio, which is gearing up to be absolutely incredible as well. And mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen, end of October 2022, we are back full on with the Paradise Tattoo Gathering. So please mark your calendars. We will have definitive dates and schedules announced within the next few months. At this point in time, I'd like to go through and thank some of the people that make these shows happen, some of our sponsors, starting off with Inkjet Stencils. Print stencils straight from your mobile phone or computer. Save your time, save your hands, save your apprentices' hands. Get rid of the headache of having to deal with thermal faxes that might not give you the detail that you want, or that might make your stencils too dark and not give you anything that you're really looking for. Get rid of that headache. Invest in an inkjet stencil printer. Trust me, it's going to change your world. It's great for both line drawing tattoos and for, printing out photographs and stenciling those right onto the skin. Next, I'd like to thank Interstate Ink LA. Many of you may know Church from his awesome custom sneakers. His studio is seeking resident and guest artists, all clean and sober. If you are an artist in recovery looking for a supporting studio, or you know someone who needs one, please go to Instagram, look them up at Interstate Ink LA. Next, we have Raw Pigments, a tattoo company that's tapping into the source, rawpigments.co. I got to try these out a few months ago and fell in love with them. I absolutely love them. If you're used to working with more old school powder-based pigments, and you're trying to stay away from a lot of the acrylic-based pigments that are currently being used, this is the way to go. They are super dense, heavily pigmented, vegan friendly, acrylic free. I mean, these pigments are absolutely incredible. I love them. I swear by it. Would also like to thank worldtattooevents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They've got lots of constant updating as tattoo conventions are being rescheduled like crazy, especially with everything that's going on right now and people not really knowing what's going on with upcoming events. Take a look at worldtattooevents.com to stay up to date with the latest and greatest schedules. Would also like to thank DLize Pro, also known as Dermalize Pro in the rest of the world. Thanks international copyright laws for that. Protect your art. If you're still using saran wrap, it's time to up your game. This stuff is specifically designed to heal tattoos. They've got videos of tattooers on YouTube walking you through, telling you what it's all about and how it can be beneficial to you. Definitely go ahead and take a look at DLize Pro. Also like to thank Tattoo Now, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in SEO and professional development for tattooers of all levels. They're now accepting new clients. So if you're really trying to get out there and you're really trying to reach a broader client base, if you're really trying to, say you're trying to hire new artists and you really want to get the word out that, hey, guess what? We've got a presence. We're a great place to work. Reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to take care of you. And I'm telling you right now, they're the best. And of course, thank you to Guy Aitchison for being the inspiration and the founder of Reinventing the Tattoo. You can go to guyaitchison.com or tattooeducation.com. You can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, any of his DVDs. He's got some custom tattoo coil machines, very limited production. You may want to grab one while you can, if you're like me and you like to collect tattoo machines, as well as original oil paintings for sale. Go ahead, take a look, guyaitchison.com or tattooeducation.com. As well, I'd like to thank two of our affiliates, the Fireside Tattoo Network and the Apprenticeship Diaries. For those of you that don't know about the Fireside Tattoo Network, if you're a tattoo artist currently and you're really trying to step your game up, if you're really trying to get a better understanding of how some of the great artists out there are really doing what they're doing, take a look at the Fireside Tattoo Network. They've got some absolutely incredible content on there that's just pure gold. On the other end of the on the other end of the spectrum, if you're trying to get an apprenticeship, if you're wondering if becoming a tattoo apprentice is the right role for you, take a look at the Apprenticeship Diaries with Amy Nichols. It's absolutely incredible. It will walk you through, tattoo apprenticeships, what to consider, what to think about, what's going to be involved, different things like that to help get you on the right track to see if that's going to be what's best for you. Also, please post positive reviews on the channel. Help us get the word out. Or if you'd like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, or maybe become a sponsor in the community, please, by all means, email management@reinventingthetattoo.com. Also, make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons down below. Those always help us out and help us, maintain doing shows like this in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to switch that over there, and that can go there, and then this can go here, and that can get closed. And I am joined today with Ricardo Sertivant.
What's up, Jason?
Ricardo is my homie. What's up, homie?
How you doing, man?
Doing all right, bud. Doing all right. Got something pretty exciting going on today. I've been talking to everyone about maybe switching gears and working on this large commission painting. That I took on, and I accepted the commission this past spring, and I'm just now getting around to actually getting started on it. So I was going to be working on that for a little while today while chatting with everyone and saying hi and what's up.
It's awesome, dude.
Actually, let me go through Lou Gomes, see what's up with Lou. Lou, are you with us? If so, man, join the audio. Lou, are you there? Okay, maybe Lou's not there.
It happens.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Cool. So let me just throw this over here. This is live chat. Cool, good. Awesome. Cool. So, and I am trying to get some more live tattooing going on. Hey, Lou.
Hey, sorry.
How's it going?
Good. This is, hold on. Why won't this shut off? What the hell? I'm ruining your show. Anyway, this is my first time using Zoom, so I was trying to figure out what was going on.
Right on, man. Right on. Yeah, it can be a little tricky your first time, but it's all good, man. It's all good. There's not really a whole lot that can ruin this show. I'm kind of like a techie nerd, in secret. So don't tell anyone. Don't let that get out, because I'll be getting calls for Geek Squad all the time. Like, my computer's broke or my iPad's not working. It's like, yeah, well, draw on paper. What do you want me to say? It's like, it's great because, with pencil and paper, you never have to wait for it to charge. You never have to worry about connectivity, or if you're running out of space, you just flip the page.
That's it.
Sharpen that pencil.
Right. Well, I'm going to switch video angles, and let's do this. So I actually had my friend Pat come over and help me out getting everything set up so that I could do this today.
Killer. It's a big ass painting.
I thought I'd try something a little bit different,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's funny when this painting is actually standing up, it's taller than I am. Not that that's really saying a whole lot. It really does not take a whole lot, to be taller than me, but that's okay, because I just like to think I'm concentrated awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, I went out and picked up some of a couple of new tubes of paint because I realized I didn't really have too many greens. And I like to have pre-mixed colors, like full tubes of it when I'm doing stuff like this. That way I don't really have to worry so much about, getting the exact mix right again. Just makes things a little bit easier to go back into, as opposed to sitting down and trying to pre-mix a color, and then storing that on a shelf and wondering if I'm going to need any more of it, and then if I don't need any more of it, I just throw the bottle out and it's like, well, all right. But if you just have a pre-mixed tube, I find it's just a little bit easier to go back into things. Just like having the right color when you're doing a tattoo. I'm a firm believer that unless you know how to mix the color, you shouldn't be using it. But at the same time, if any of you have ever gotten a peek into my ink drawer, I've got bottles and bottles and bottles of every color you can ever imagine.
Big time. Yeah.
Why? Because it's consistency. I want to know that if I need to go back into an area, I know exactly what color I'm going to be using, and it's going to be consistent every single time.
It used to be that way. I tend to simplify things a lot more now. So I've reduced my color selection to a few of each, and then I kind of mix as I go. I'll use a opaque gray to desaturate or use a white to brighten or whatever.
Right.
And I don't find I have trouble going back later into a tattoo and matching that, because I've been doing it for such a long time now that I can kind of see what I did. I can say,
Gotcha.
okay, that was a lipstick red, and I mixed in a little bit of rust with it, to get that, more orangey kind of vibe to it. And I paint the same way. I rarely pre-mix stuff. I just kind of mix as I go. So maybe that's why I'm getting 3 paintings done a year.
I tend to do the same thing.
I'm a very, very slow painter. So I like to go back into things multiple times, do multiple glazes, multiple layers.
Sure.
It's my little place of zen whenever I start painting. So it's just kind of what I like to do.
Right on, man.
Just kind of starting to block in. Whenever I'm working with acrylic or oil, I always like to go through with like some alcohol-based markers first. And sometimes I'll block in some areas if I'm getting a little confused about it, before I ever start laying paint down. The Copic sketch markers, by the way, work really, really well. If you're going to go through and like build up a rough sketch underneath a painting, I find that they sit pretty well. It's what Ricardo and I used when we were working on that dragon painting to sketch it out.
Yep. Did it seem like there was some spots that the paint wouldn't cover it though? Like the acrylic, like the Copic kind of fucking shone through a little bit more. You know what I mean? Is that just me?
It may be. That may be. It depends on the opacity of the paint that's being used.
I think that might have been it.
A lot of greens are very translucent, so you're going to see straight through them. A lot of yellows are very translucent, so unless you mix some white in to make it more opaque, you're going to see what's underlying it.
Right.
I mean, I use a lot of black outlines in my paintings anyway, so to me it's kind of irrelevant because I'm going to go back through and put outlines in it anyway.
That makes sense.
But for some of the more painterly stuff, yeah, it might not be the best suited. That method might not be the best for getting that very painterly kind of look. With a lot of those very
brush stroke versus like real tight edges and stuff like that.
Right. If you're going to play it a little bit looser and a little bit more expressive, you may not want to go that route.
Right. So how's everybody's New Year's?
Quiet. I was, I think I was asleep by 9:30.
Oh, that's awesome.
My wild, crazy rock star lifestyle.
Sounds like fun, man. Actually, I ended up somehow staying awake until 4 a.m. I don't know what the hell.
Wow.
I haven't done
was
that in
up till
forever.
5.
I haven't done that in for so long, and that the next day I was just like, oof, I'm not doing anything. Nothing today. It was super awesome, super productive. Said the sarcastic Ricardo.
Yeah, I was up till 5 working on oil paintings all night, surrounded by no one but my cat, and it was absolutely glorious.
It's radical, man.
And I think Kier joined us. Hey, Kier.
Hi, I just been waiting for my slot to say hello. I just wanted to pop in.
Hey,
What
what's
up, dude?
What's good?
Hello, I'm at the barn right now, so I'm not working much on art. But yeah,
How'd you do?
howdy do, die day. I'm glad everybody had a good New Year's. Everybody's painting and stuff. Jason, that canvas is ginormous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a biggin.
Yeah, we're in the company of some 4-legged animals today, so we're gonna hang out.
How you gotta insult me like that?
Legs? I didn't know.
Ricardo, Kier's making fun of me again.
Oh man, it happens sometimes.
You gonna use teal, Jason?
What?
Are you gonna use teal in your painting?
Am I going to use what?
Teal! Jesus Christ.
Teal? Of course. Teal's the background. Teal is the background. I just
Teal
couldn't
is-
understand you. You were muffled.
Teal is
Oh,
much
yeah.
different than teal Jesus Christ, though, just to clarify, right?
It is the holiest of all teals. that
It is the
can
holiest of all the teals, yes.
The teal
Celeb-
teal?
He celebrated, and that color is celebrated in many different forms in many different countries. It's awesome.
Teal and umber.
I do not have the best of service here, so don't mind the spottiness.
Lou, what you working on?
I'm working on a commission painting. One of my very good clients commissioned this to get for her mother for her birthday, which I think was last March. So I'm a little late getting this one done.
Yeah.
Got super busy at work, and she's super understanding. So I told her painting's not going to be done on time. I ended up giving her one of my other smaller ones that I did of a bird to give to her mom. And now I'm all fired up to get painting again. So get back at it.
Rock and roll, man.
Wait, it's Freddie Mercury. I just took a shot of him that I found on Google, did a little modification with kind of color tone in the background. That's about it. Pretty straightforward, I think.
It's awesome. How long have you been working on it?
Well, if you total up the hours I've put into it already, maybe about 8 or 10 hours.
Okay.
So I'm past the halfway point, I think. I don't typically paint realism or even like a painterly realism. When I paint, I or like kind of surreal or even more like illustrative type stuff. So this was kind of my first attempt at this type of painting. I'm kind of poking away kind of slow at it.
Right on. Let's see. So when you start the project, are you using a stencil or do you paint on the drawing?
So with
Projector?
with this particular one, I did a stencil like I would for a tattoo, but I hit the back of it with a white charcoal pencil and then just kind of lightly sketched it on there through the paper. So at least I had my basic proportions, but not any like real details as far as where shadows or any kind of edges were.
Right on.
with,
Yeah, it tends to speed up the process quite a bit more, you know what I mean? And I know like a lot of artists debate back and forth about as far as what is the real painting, what is not a real painting, what is a painting, you know what I mean? And it's
Right.
always funny whenever that comes up, because it's like, what are we questioning here really whenever that question does come up? Are we questioning skill? Are we questioning the overall product of the painting?
right.
Or, you know what I mean? And it's always funny because everybody has their own process, you know what I mean? And for me, honestly, I think it's more about like what you're comfortable with at the moment, you know? Like there's no real one way to do it, you know, I think anyways. Or right or wrong way to do it anyway. But that's
Right.
awesome. That's awesome. I find that with smaller stuff like that, it does tend to lend with like an overall easier process as far as going from a blank canvas to a finished image, you know.
For sure.
It kind of helps it out a little bit more. But
And where this is kind of outside of my box, I felt like I needed a little help. You know, I wanted to make sure I succeeded, at least pretty close to my expectations.
yeah,
If it were one of my other paintings, with those, I tend to sketch on there with a very thin acrylic wash, and
Yeah.
I'll get everything kind of blocked in with that, and then I'll do my oils over that.
oh, okay.
Wanted to make sure I had it right.
Well, that's crazy. So you don't find any problems with how the oils lay over the acrylics as the base?
No, not at all. I keep them really washed out with water, and then I let them dry fully. I'll even hit it with a hair dryer.
Okay.
And then I spray a workable fixative over it, let that dry, and then I just paint over that.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, you always hear a lot of different ways of doing it. I've never heard about I've heard people suggest the acrylic approach at first, but that's awesome to hear that it doesn't really, because I know I've done it over charcoals before, and that tends to bleed out quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those particles will get picked up into a paint, especially a light color for sure.
Yeah, big time, dude. And it just muddies it all up. And then no matter how much you tend to layer it, it seems to kind of show through. In my opinion, anyway. I mean, I know technically with enough, you know, unfiltered oil layering that it will cover it up. It'll lay on top of it. But for some reason, my eye always catches it. And you're like, damn it.
The one little trick that I picked up along the road less traveled back when I was in school was if you want to make any paint that you're using a bit more opaque, and I find that this is pretty true with tattoo pigments as well, use ever the slightest amount of white and mix that into it, and it'll make it that much more opaque.
Okay.
So if you're having problems with, like, you know, going over an acrylic area, say it's, you know, a little bit too dark of a wash, even though I do a lot of the same thing, I'll thin out acrylics to almost a completely translucent kind of layer. What I found is that if I just add a little bit of, you know, opaque white or even like a neutral gray to whatever color I'm using that is just a little too translucent, really does the trick.
Yeah, I don't think I get much of a problem because I build up so many layers. It's rare that with an oil painting I'll do it in one or two passes. It's usually many layers over and over. And over that time, my sketch, whatever's underneath there, tends to just kind of get buried after a while.
What are you using any kind of like a liquid or a gel medium or anything of that nature as you're painting with your oils?
No, not really. I use odorless mineral spirits just to thin as I need. I've messed around with different additives and stuff. I just don't like them. Either that or I don't have patience to really mess with them. So if I want a fast painting, I paint acrylics. If I want a slow painting, I paint in oils. If I want a really fast painting, I'll paint in watercolors. But yeah, I really just kind of keep it raw, and I just get thicker as I go. So less and less thinner as I build the painting up.
Right on. I've been using this this oil gel medium, this translucent gel medium from Gamblin. And I really like it. I find it speeds up my oils, like the drying time of my glazes,
Yeah.
a bit more than if I were to not use it. So I've really been liking it.
Nice. I do
That's
have
killer.
even though I'm bald, I do keep a hair dryer right next to me, but I'll use that from some of my glazes, and that seems to speed it up enough to where I can go back into it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was talking to Christian Perez at the Paradise BYOB as he was doing like a live oil painting demo. And he was telling me about this stuff called a cobalt dryer.
Heard of this?
He's like, dude, it will dry oils overnight, like
Wow.
completely dry overnight. He's like, the downside is that it's really, 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 really toxic stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, to the point that you should use it outside or in a very, very well ventilated area because it would probably kill you.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
anytime-
don't want to use anything like that. It's
Yeah, anytime you hear the word cobalt, you go, ooh.
yeah, does not sound fun to me. But I mean, if you're working on a commission painting and deadline's coming up really, really soon, I can understand why some people would go that route.
Oh, totally. Yeah, if this was any other clients, I would have either got it done a lot quicker or just turned it down when it first came in. But I've known her for years, and she's one of the nicest people I know. So anytime I'd send her an apology email, she would apologize back, and it's all good.
That's awesome.
So I don't mean
Clients
to
like that are amazing.
Yeah. And during the lockdown at the beginning of the pandemic, she was one of the people that really kept me going. She commissioned a lot of paintings. Her and one of my other clients from back in Albuquerque kept me fed and kept the lights on at my house the 3 months that we couldn't work. So it was nice.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. That's I had a lot of clients come through for me as well. It was it's pretty good blessing, you know what I mean? It's like whenever you can see that, you can be a part of that. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I felt the same way, man. The first month, I was like, all right, sweet. I think I could do this. I got it, no problem. And then that second month, I was like, okay, so let's see what's gonna happen here.
Yeah. Yeah, I started thinking about the grocery store up the street that had a hiring sign out front.
Yeah, man, seriously.
From this job to bagging groceries, do what you got to do, I guess.
That's pretty much where I've
know
been.
one artist that went and got a job working at Amazon during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Those
It
guys
was like, yeah, dude, it was like 15, 20 bucks an hour. It was, flexible hours, part time. They knew it was only going to be for quarantine. So yeah, why wouldn't I?
Totally. Yeah, I've never had an issue with that. It's like, oh, I got to work at this. I got to do this. No problem. I got it.
Guys, I'm going to disappear for a second. I got to go get my coffee.
Go for it.
Cool. So, Kier, how are the horses today?
They're doing good. It's pretty cold up here, so they're all just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing good though. They're doing good.
They all get along pretty well.
I mean, they have a pecking order, so sometimes they want to mess up that pecking order and fight each other. But whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
What we got?
Did you ever end up putting a second coat of the varnish on that painting you did with the black 3.0?
Yeah, it works like wonders.
Did it?
I was like, yeah, oh yeah, it's perfect now. Like it definitely just needed a second coat for sure.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it needs, It's just going back into it and giving it one more coat or one more layer of varnish. It can really even out everything.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Now it's back to being sellable. So now it's just sitting at home waiting. I might get a really nice frame for it. And then I don't know.
Well,
then the word is the
Uh,
oyster.
depending on the type of frame, like how fancy you want it to be and what your budget is and all that stuff, let me know. I've got a company that I go through that really has some very, very reasonable prices on some very nice solid wood 3-piece frames.
Right, I would definitely let you know about that for sure. I've been looking for like just cheap frames just to put in the studio, like put all my flash sheets and stuff like that in. So might just go to like Ocean State Job Lot. If you guys have that.
Well, and
You know.
you know, for flash sheets and stuff like that, smaller paintings, 11 by 14s, you know, I can definitely see that. But knowing the amount of time, effort, and energy you've put into that Pan's Labyrinth painting, I would put it in a nicer frame.
Oh yeah, no, that's one in like I pictured like a nice matte black Victorian frame to go around it. I have a frame in mind, but you know, who knows? I don't know. I might just keep it forever. You know, whatever.
Well, I mean, I find that when you're going to sell work that hasn't been commissioned, sometimes the frame is ultimately everything that what it comes down to. Oh, Atomic joined us in YouTube. What's up, Atomic? What's up, Mrs. Roar Sauce? What's up?
What's up, guys?
We got our old Big Mel that says hi.
Hello, Horsey.
Oh.
Do they know Mr. Ed?
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely think after this, I'm going back to doing just like a whole bunch of way, way smaller paintings. I might even get into miniatures just to knock them out faster.
This is a great. I love smaller paintings. Really.
Yeah, I like them just for like the amount of like crazy detail that some artists will get in them. You know, and it's like, how did you paint that cleanly, that small? You know, I understand like there's miniature brushes that are out there that will allow you to do such things, but the amount of brush control you have to have when you're doing something like that is unbelievable. Like it's superhuman.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to watch some people paint with those little brushes.
Be sitting there with like an electron microscope and everything, and you know, getting down to like the atomic level.
Quantum painting.
Yes. Yes.
Quantum
That is
painting.
the next evolution in art. You heard it here first, folks.
All right.
Quantum painting.
Quantum painting. You'd have to say it with like an Australian accent. Quantum painting.
If I could pull off an Australian accent that well, I probably would.
Quantum painting.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking lately about you know, giving it another little while and then you know, maybe picking up and moving to a different country for a couple of months. maybe in a few years or something like that, and just going to spend, 6 to 8 months in a different country, just tattooing, painting, drawing. Just going to explore the world a little bit more, selling off most of my crap and just going to do it.
The great thing about what we do, that you can pretty much go anywhere in the world and there's going to be a shop that would love to have a guest artist from somewhere else.
Oh yeah. Actually, I was talking to my friend Mikkel about that. He works out in Scotland. And I kept joking around with him saying, listen, dude, I'm going to show up on your doorstep one day and ask you for a job. And he's like, dude, you're always welcome. He's like, come, stay as long as you want. Like, if you decide to stay here for longer than like a week or two, we'll help you find a spot to live and get you all set up with like, EU taxes and all that stuff and walk you through everything. And I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah. So what are you doing there?
It's a very good question, actually.
I would have been gone already.
I think I'm going to give it another couple of years working in Pennsylvania, and then I'll start looking for maybe a different spot.
What
No,
part of,
I've got it pretty good where I am, so I can't really complain about that.
yeah. What part of Pennsylvania are you in?
Just north of Philadelphia.
Okay. I was just in Pittsburgh in November. Went out there first. So I've been to Philly before, but not for a long time.
Yeah, Philly's a bit of a crazy place. Wacky things happen in Philly.
Oh yeah.
I'll be the first to admit that.
The guy that used to work at the shop I'm at, he spent a lot of time down there. He was telling me about the squirrels that are addicted to crack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Crack squirrels. We get them.
Yeah.
Crack squirrels are originally native to Central Park in New York City.
Okay.
They have migrated over the past 15 years. We now have quite the population of them in different parks around Philadelphia. They are known to jump out of trees and attack people.
Oh.
They are rather vicious.
Yeah.
And you might be wondering, well, how did these squirrels get addicted to crack? Well, when crack vials get left out on the street or thrown away in public trash cans, they become fair game for the squirrels of the area. And that breeds a dependency on it. And then next thing you know, you've got squirrels that are completely and totally cracked out of their mind that, are just absolutely crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, people don't really believe that story when I tell them, but it's like, yo, it's 100% true. That and ever since we just got a major rainstorm not too long ago, and a lot of the major highways got flooded in Philadelphia that were below the water line. And because of that, the rat population has started to move from the sewers up above ground.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, not a very good thing, because the size of Philadelphia city rats is impressive. I will say that Philadelphia is very great as far as its positioning around major populated areas. So, in an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can be in New York City. You can be out at the beach. You can be down in Baltimore in 3 hours. So it's a very great centralized location to move between these major metropolitan areas. So it's like an absolute haven for tattooers because the population density says it all. But there's also very, very few restrictions as far as, tattoo legislation and regulations and requirements. Unless you're within city limits of Philadelphia. In that case, yes, there's quite a few, but
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like the Wild West. All it takes is a business license and a $50 Amazon kit, and you too can open up your own tattoo studio.
Super successfully as well.
Oh yeah.
Just joking.
Yeah, you can make a lifelong career out of it for one $50 investment and a business license.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, and health concerns, don't worry about that. So someone may get MRSA or Ebola or bubonic plague.
Bubonic plague.
I mean, you know, yeah, but you know, it kind of comes with the territory. You know, I always like to use the carrot excuse, if you will. You know, it's like, oh, you got some kind of an infection in your tattoo. Oh, do you eat a lot of carrots? Oh, you don't eat a lot of carrots. Oh, well, that's probably why. Oh, you do eat a lot of carrots? Oh, well, that's probably why.
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before.
That was a very, very big, old school kind of excuse for when people would come in and, you know, complain about their tattoo getting infected.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the times, right? Where it was get them in, get them out. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter if it's done well. Doesn't matter if it gets infected or anything. I'm very happy those times are over.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off.
Go for it, man.
Y'all take it easy. Lou,
Right.
good talking to you, man. Good luck with the painting.
Catch you later. Good talk.
Yeah. Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year, bud. How long have you been tattooing, Lou?
I have been tattooing for just over 18 years now.
That's awesome. Where are you located?
Right now I'm in Massachusetts, South Shore, Massachusetts. This is where I started my career. And then 2007, I moved out to Albuquerque. I was out there for 10 years. And then I moved back here in 2017, be closer to my mom, take care of her. Yeah. Been a good ride so far.
Yeah, it's definitely an industry that if you treat it right, it will treat you right.
Absolutely. You know, I was told when I was an apprentice that I like the way it was put. Tattooing takes care of itself. And the meaning behind that is the industry itself, once you get in, it filters itself. The people that really can't hang with it, you know, the feast and the famine part of it, you know, they tend to find their way out after a couple of years, 2-3 years. They just kind of go back to welding or whatever they were doing before. And the ones that stick it out, I think once you get past like that 8-9 year mark, then you're kind of in. Like you almost don't see ever getting out of it. Ivory back. I don't want ivory back.
Yeah, I mean, that's very, very, very true. I mean, don't get me wrong, who would ever want to voluntarily get out of it? I mean, financially, I get that part, but I mean, it really is, in my opinion, one of the greatest industries in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think from the outside, it looks like some kind of a dream job that we just kind of goof around all day and A lot of people that get into it don't realize how much work it actually is. But if you love the work, then it doesn't matter. I've actually probably talked more people out of getting an apprenticeship than I have talked people into getting into tattooing. Mainly just by telling them realistically about plan on never having a Saturday to yourself again. You're going to miss lots of birthday parties and weddings and barbecues. And, you know, depending on where you're working, you don't have any benefits or retirement unless you plan it all yourself. Once they get all that in their head, they're like, wow, like, okay, there's more to this than just, you know, tattooing skulls and flowers on people.
Oh, and let's not forget to mention the fact that, you know, if it really is your passion in life, if this is what you really, really want to do, significant others probably will never understand what that's like.
Absolutely.
You know,
I had this
not
one.
easy.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's not easy, man. I mean, if this is what your passion in life really, really is, unless your significant other is just as passionate about something else,
Right.
or they're also, you know, a tattoo artist that understands the struggle, they won't ever grasp what you have to go through.
Exactly. For me, I mean, my ex, we were together 10 years, so it's more than half of my career. So that was the easy part. I didn't have to worry about that at home, explaining my job or explaining my hours, because we worked side by side for 10 years. But I had an apprentice back in Albuquerque, great kid, good artist. He took to tattooing really well, took his apprenticeship really seriously. Finally finished it, got licensed, and he was a bit younger. And he and his wife decided they wanted to start a family. She talked him into getting out of tattooing. I think he was in for about a year, and then he just got out. And you know what? I wasn't mad at him. I get it. You want to start a family. You want to have security. You want to have, you know, peace of mind with finances. Then yeah, by all means, go ahead and do it. Where's my reference?
Yeah, but it's not easy, man. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what it would be like trying to start a family, being an artist, you know, and not having a consistent source of income,
Right.
you know, such as like a salary job or anything like that. I can't comprehend that.
Right.
Then again, I have no kids. I'm pretty much a dedicated bachelor.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, just being in a very long-term relationship with someone that understands the industry, that alone to me is a foreign concept, because I've never had that. So
Yeah.
and I mean, there are plenty of people out there that, you know, get it, that understand, that are supportive, and that's great. I just haven't met them, you know.
My girlfriend now, I don't know if it's an age thing or not. She's my age, and she was an art teacher for 20 years in like public schools. And she's out of that now. She's doing buying and selling antiques and kind of starting her own antiques business. But she gets it. Like, she knows what my job is. She knows that, you know, my weekends aren't normal weekends. And when I do have one, I'm usually on my iPad getting my, you know, art ready for the following week. And she gets it. But yeah, they're rare. Rare that you find someone that just instantly gets that right off the bat.
I'm not saying it's not possible, and there are plenty of, you know, examples of it happening and it working out really, really well. Both of my godparents are artists, you know, photographers, graphic artists. They worked in, you know, the commercial area of art for a very long time, had very successful commercial art business. And, you know, they had a child. It was great. And, you know, still together, everything's good. But they were both artists to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think having that kind of a common ground is definitely something that's going to help you. you know, throughout all of the challenges that people will face.
Oh, sure.
I went through my first apprenticeship when I was in college, and I was dating a girl for, you know, 3-4 years, something like that, 4.5 years. Forget how long exactly. It was a long time. At that point in time, it was a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, she was into social work. That's what she did. That's awesome. You know, very, very noble industry to get into.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that doesn't pay very well. And she knew that. And she, you know, that's fine. She was doing it for the noblest of reasons. She wanted to help people.
Yep.
But she didn't know what it was to be an artist and what it was to have that kind of a passion where if you're not working outside of tattooing, of doing the tattoo and preparing for the tattoo, you're falling behind. You're not going to be prepared to do that tattoo when you go back into the studio.
Right.
You know, and if you're not prepared for that, well, then that's time wasted, and time is money. So that was a foreign concept.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't understand the fact that just because I'm not at the studio doesn't mean I don't have work to do for the studio.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a labor of love, and it's a passionate thing that we have to do in life, but it's also what provides us the happiness that we have. And that satisfaction, that fulfillment, that sense of fulfillment that we get when we knock a tattoo out of the park.
Yeah.
And, you know, looking at what we did even years down the road, and we sit back and we're like, I did that?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was me, wasn't it?
That's one of my favorite things, coming across an old photo that something you never posted before, maybe got lost in the shuffle, or is in like an old portfolio back when we still did printed portfolios.
Yep.
I'll see a piece or two. I'm like, wow, I was on top of my game then. Like,
Right.
I try to like rethink what was my mindset back then? Like, why did that suddenly like jump out at that time? But yeah, I think that those periods are when you're absolutely 100% in love with what you're doing. And even though physically you might be fatigued, mentally you're on it, and you're craving creating the next piece.
Yeah, it's funny. I always used to joke around with my friends and say, vacation? Oh, that's where I go and work in a different place, right? Oh, yeah, that means I just get to go and tattoo somewhere new.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, you never take time off. And I was like, oh, well, why would I want to? This is what I love in life. You know,
Yeah.
this is my happy place that I get to do and make a decent living at it. So why would I want to not do this?
Yeah. You bring up a thought in my mind where every artist gets this. Anytime someone sees your art that's not an artist, they say, wow, I wish I could draw like that. And it's hard to explain to them the choices you make when you're younger, when you decide I want to be an artist. The choices you make, turning down going to a party, or, you know, going out on a Friday night or a Saturday night so you can go sit at your drawing board and draw sketches of hands for hours until you fall asleep, you know. And they don't get that. They just see you now that you're able to make a living doing art. They just don't see the dedication you had when you were younger to focus and keeping your eye on the end goal.
Yeah, I think you see that a lot more now with the age of digital marketing and social media advertising and stuff like that. It's something a friend of mine and I, who's another artist, we're talking about. And it's like, you know, you see all of these incredible artists out there that are posting this insanely beautiful work. What you're not seeing are the hours and hours and days and cumulative weeks that they have spent preparing.
Yep.
Just to do one piece.
Yep.
You know, going out, sourcing your own photographs to create that original painting or that original tattoo. Look at guys like Tom Renshaw,
Yeah.
right? He would he would travel out and he would take his own
Yeah.
photos of North American wildlife to tattoo on people.
Doesn't Dino Cook does the same thing, doesn't he, with
Yep.
his underwater stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they will get just the right perfect photo of whatever it is they're going to be tattooing.
Yep.
But think about how much time they spent and how much money they've invested in going on those scuba trips or taking those trips up to the Canadian outback and, going and doing all of this research, all of this homework and taking all of these photos and spending all of this time just to capture that one photo, just to do that one tattoo.
Yep.
Those are the guys that I look up to and I'm like, that's it. That is the pinnacle. That is what I want to do eventually. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, I've got a little bit more of like a graphic style, but still, sometimes you have to, if you're looking for a very specific angle of a very specific flower, go down to your local florist and just ask them if you can take
Sure.
some photos of some of the flowers for an artistic reference.
Yep.
Explain to them you're a local artist. Sometimes maybe not tell them that you're a tattoo artist, because then that gets into a whole conversation of, oh, well, I was thinking about getting another one. Like, what do you think you could do with this? Or, hey, my friend's boyfriend's roommate's cousin's sister-in-law just did this on me at her house. What do you think? And it's like, I'm just here to take pictures of a flower.
Yeah.
I'm not really trying to, but you don't want to be rude. So you have to entertain that and answer the questions. I just like to tell people I'm a local artist.
Yeah.
It eliminates a lot of that headache.
Yeah. If I do the same thing, but if they see all the tattoos on me and say, are you a tattoo artist? I'll say, well, that's one of the things I do, but I'm also,
Right.
I'm a painter, pinstriper, illustrator. And I deflect it as much as I can before they, and if they persist, I hand them a business card. Well, now I got
Yep.
one of those fancy little dot cards and just hit their phone with it. Like, here you go.
How do you like using those little dot cards?
I love it. You know what I love the
Really?
most is when someone's phone buzzes when it happens. They go, "What the hell was that?" It's such a new tech that I think it's it's impressing a lot of people. But it's great because number one, you're not printing a ton of business cards, which I don't know about you, but I try to keep my carbon footprint down as much as possible. So that's a big part of it for me. Number two, once they have it and they save it as a contact, when they're out and somebody sees their tattoo and all they got to do is text that contact card to their friend, and there's your Instagram, website, email, Venmo, PayPal, all that is all right there for them. So I think it'll get your info into more people's hands than traditional business cards, because people will just always have it in them. It's not like, oh, it's in the visor of my car, I'll get it when we go out. And that was $20. How you gonna beat that?
That's what I'll do. Because I'm actually, I spent most of the day yesterday just working on a new design for my business cards to try to keep that up to date as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is something I've been conscious about over the past few years, is like, do I really want to continue to get 1,000 business cards made at a time?
Right.
I mean, yeah, I travel. Yes, I do a lot of shows. Yes, I hand out a lot of cards to a lot of people. I mean, anytime I travel somewhere new or I go to a restaurant I've never been to, I'll hand them a card, or I'll leave a card at the end of the night with the check,
Yeah.
just in case the server, wants to get a tattoo. Why not? Maybe they'll see my work and be like, oh man, that's awesome. Let me go book an appointment with this guy.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. Come on in. We'll set something up. We'll set you up with an appointment. We'll sit down. We'll discuss it, and we'll do that sleeve on you for sure.
Yep. I'm all over the place with this painting. I don't care. Another thought I had with it, because the card, I don't know if there's a chip inside the card or whatever that transfers the info, but there's also like a QR code on the back of it that people can just scan with their camera. was thinking of having some shirts printed. It's been a while since I've done any. And I thought I could just print that QR code right on the shirt. And honestly,
Yep.
somebody could be standing behind them and just scan it with their phone. And, you know, you might pick up some clients at the, you know, from the beer line at the fucking concert. Just
Yeah.
scan one shirt. So
People love QR codes too. They're like, oh, what's this go to? Let me scan it and find out.
yeah,
You know, but at the same time, I do like to have that kind of a physical presence where it's
Sure.
like, here is my card.
Yeah.
This is a card I designed that is representative of me, of the type of work I like to do, you know, and the quality of work that I like to put out.
sure.
You know, that's
What I ended up doing on that card when when they opened up the contact, the picture I print on my business card is actually on there. It'll be right there on their phone.
that's awesome.
They even still get that at least, you know, and it's,
Okay.
I say it's my brand, but I've been using that image for so long, it kind of has become recognized with my work. So
Right.
it's not even a tattoo or a drawing. It's a photograph that I had staged up. And but yeah, I've been using it for the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, I mean, brand recognition is very prominent in every industry.
Yeah.
You know, not just tattooing, not just painting, but you know, I'll admit, I'll do this. I will be the first one to admit I was one of those guys years ago before I started tattooing where I would walk around and I would grab business cards from every single artist I came across.
Oh yeah. I had
And I still to
Shoebox
this day, I've
filled-
got inch thick stacks of
Yeah.
cards, you know, and I love it because I'll look at that for inspiration and I'll look at that and I'll say, wow, you know, this is a Hannah Aitchison card from, you know, 2004,
yeah.
you know, or this is a Bob Tyrell card from 2008, you know,
Yeah.
something that might be rare that people don't think of anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But I was one of those people that was like, okay, this can be inspirational, and I've got all their contact info now, so cool.
Right.
I can't tell you the last time I actually looked through all of the cards. You know, that it's been quite a few years since that's happened.
Yeah.
But it's there should I ever need that kind of inspiration. You know,
Sure.
so I do enjoy that.
Yeah. And there's, you know, I don't think I'll ever not have physical business cards, but that last 1,000 that I bought might be the last 1,000 I ever buy. Those might get me through the next handful of years. You know, if you might have an older client or someone that's like, you know what, can I just have a regular business card? You know, having them on hand to hand out. But I'm really big on trying to keep up. I mean, I'm almost 50 now. And in the last decade or two, tech has been just progressing so fast. That's a paradigm shift when it comes to advertising. You know, what tattooers do you know that still advertise in, you know, a magazine or a newspaper or at the, you know, on the bulletin board at a local college or something? No, everything's online. It's Instagram, Twitter. And so trying to shift everything to that mindset where we've got the clients I want are the clients that were born never knowing a world without social media.
Right.
You know,
Right.
whose head I'm trying to get into and what's going to impress them. You know, it's, you know, being current with everything, you know, having the latest tech for booking and payments and all that. I don't want to end up
catering to the language that your potential and future clients want to speak.
exactly, you know, keep your current clients, but also, you know, get in touch with the new generation that's coming out. I don't know if you noticed this, but you know, I remember not that long ago, first timers would come in and they would want something size of a playing card or smaller. Most of my first timers now are coming in talking about starting with a half sleeve or a full sleeve.
Yep.
So not only are they, you know, a little more tech savvy and able to research their artists, but they're also knowing a lot more of what they want, willing to go big. So I want them in my chair as much as I can.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, though, I've actually had some first timers that have come in that are like, I want to get my face tattooed, or I want to get the top of my hand done. How about my throat? Can I get my throat done?
Yeah,
And it's
the
like,
bodysuit, you get your hands and your throat done and just wear long sleeves.
right. Yeah, it's definitely a trend that I myself have started to see over here, in Pennsylvania
Yeah,
and in Philadelphia, like in the Philadelphia area specifically. You start to see a lot of people coming in for the rock star tattoos that want to start out with that because that's what they see that they like. And they're
Right.
like, oh, well, this guy's not afraid to get his face done. It's like, yeah, but this dude's already set for life with money.
yeah. No, I will still turn down stuff. I personally don't like tattooing people's faces, and that's
Yeah.
just a personal preference. I'll turn those down. I don't care if every other square inch of their body is tattooed already. I'm probably not going to do a tattoo on someone's face. But the first timers, yeah, their first tattoo, it's not going on their hands or on their face or throat.
Do it.
I'll try to
Do it.
No, I'll try to direct them somewhere else. And if they don't want to do that, then yeah, I'll refer them to somebody that will, somebody good.
Yeah, I think that just comes down to ethics too,
Sure.
especially if they're on the younger side, 18 years old, 19 years old. It's like, why don't do that?
Right.
A lot is going to change for you in the next, 10 years.
Yeah. A good thing too is when that happens is to not make them feel stupid about it. Just really kind of explain why it's not a great idea to start with that. Because they're going to get it done somewhere else. If you just tell them, man, it's a bad idea, get out of here. They're going to go find the first person that's going to do it for them. And we know where that leads. So
Yep.
I try to at least keep them in the ethical range.
Yeah, I think ethics in tattooing it's a very big thing that a lot of people have different opinions on. I used to work for a guy that would turn around and he would say, oh yeah, face tattoo. You don't have sleeves? I'll do it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's on you, man. Like, and every single person that would come over that would want something like that done, I was like, listen, I'm not going to do it. Go talk to this guy.
Yeah.
He'll do it. That's fine. I want to be able to sleep at night,
Yeah.
and if I do this, I'm not going to. And he's like, you know what? I would rather do it and know that it's at least done well than have them go, to Joe Schmo back alley studio or to, kitchen magician John and, have them put some kind of a fucked up tattoo on their face.
Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't do it for the money. I mean, obviously he charged them, but he's like, I'm not going to do this for, to make a profit on it. I'm going to do it because I want to at least know that they're going to have something that looks decent on their face.
Right. Yeah.
So that raises the ethical issue. Do you turn it down because it's ethically just not the right thing to do, which it isn't, but knowing that they're probably going to go somewhere else to get it done, is it then more ethical to do it knowing that it's going to look better than if they were to go to some Joe Schmo kitchen magician?
Yeah.
So
That's
it is. It absolutely is, but it's also something that's not very often discussed.
Yeah.
Me personally, if that is their choice, even though it's not a very wise decision, if that is their choice, that's fine. I'm still not doing it.
Yeah.
You know, if this is what they have decided to do, then yes, by all means, I'll refer you. I'll give you some referrals, give you a couple of people to go and talk to. That's fine. I'm still not doing it. Because at the end of the day, my name is on that tattoo.
Absolutely. I actually had a guy that worked at my shop. I owned my shop for a little while in Albuquerque, and he had his eyelids tattooed, and he wanted them touched up. And he said, "Will you touch these up for me?" I said, "Absolutely not." I didn't know I'd known this dude, and he's heavily tattooed. I'm like, "Go see this dude up the street." And he was a little bummed out. He's like, "Well, what'd you do it?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. It's gross. I don't like."
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to stretch your eyelids and tattoo you.
Ugh.
I'm all set.
Ugh. Yeah, that would be a hard pass for me.
Yeah.
It's like I've been seeing a couple of trending videos of people getting the roof of their mouth tattooed.
How do you even get a machine in there?
You don't, you hand poke it.
Oh, all right. All right.
When I figured that much out, I was like, oh, I see what you did there. You know, but before I knew that, I was like, that, yeah, no, I'm just not, nope, not for me. And I still won't do anything like that. That's not, I get it. It's trendy. Yes,
Yeah.
it's hidden. I understand these facts. I do.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm still not doing it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but number one, I don't need your money that bad. Number two,
Right.
any of my existing clients know that that's not a good idea.
Yeah. I think, there's still a huge population of people that for them tattooing is just it's a fun thing. Like they like to
Right.
play with it. As long as it's in a safe environment, I got no problem with that. People want to do fun little, tattoos on their tongue or inside of their lips or whatever. That's cool. But there's still, in my eyes, a pretty distinct split between the artists that got in this because they love to create art and the ones that got in because they love tattoos and just the history and the lifestyle of, being a tattoo collector or a tattooer. Neither is right or wrong. It's just different reasons for being in the same game. I've worked with guys that they love that kind of stuff. They'll do all the tattoos. They know we're going to drop out in a month, but it's fun and the client's having fun. They're having fun. And I'm all for it, but for them doing it, not for me though.
Right.
I got in because I want to draw instead of swinging a hammer all day long.
Yeah, tattooing for me has always been a fascination. And, I'm one of those people. I love the history and the culture behind it, but there are limits, there
Yeah.
are ethical limits. There are artistic limits. You're not going to do something super crazy artistic on the roof of someone's mouth.
No,
Or
no.
on like the first knuckle of their finger. I'm sorry. It's just,
Yeah.
You can get that lion's head done on your second knuckle area and it'll look good for a couple of weeks, maybe, until you really start to use your hands a lot, and then it's going to look like crap, but that to me, that's not what tattooing is about.
Right.
I look at the fine art of tattooing and like disguising the human form, making it so that people don't notice that you're staring at a bodysuit or a back piece. They're just looking at the fact that this tattoo is incredible.
Right.
That to me is the type of tattooing that I prefer to focus on.
Sure. I'd say probably if I had to put kind of one philosophy behind my idea of what tattooing is or should be in my eyes, it's a person putting their personality out for everyone to see. So some people's personality is very serious, or very family oriented, or some people are just clowns inside. So, and that's why with a lot of all of my clients, I got to do, if I've never worked on them before, I need to do an in-person consultation because I want to find out what kind of person this is, what's their vibe. And then
Right.
that directs the tattoo from there. Is this person making jokes every other, sentence? Because now I know where to go with this. But yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just a representation of someone's personality, and everyone's personality is different. So it's our job to put that on the outside so everyone can see it.
It's one thing I love about doing in-person consultations is you really get to hear the tone of their voice, their emotion. You get to really see a reflection of who they are as a human being,
Sure.
from their body language and their mannerisms down to, their intonation, the type of language that they use.
Yep.
It really does reflect on, the type of motif or the type of feeling and emotion that you put into their tattoo.
Sure. I had one recently, within the last, few months, that if we went by the email, I would have drawn something completely different. But I had her come in, was talking with her, and I pulled so much more information and meaning out of her. The design never changed. It was some flowers with a snake wrapped around it. But just sitting there talking with her, telling jokes, talking about music and stuff, I find out the meaning behind this tattoo. And that I think the key point that I got out of it was the snake was to have more of like a sly kind of original sin kind of vibe to him. And so that completely changed how I was going to draw the snake to begin with.
Yeah.
Now, I've got him coming down the flowers instead of going up, and he's got this kind of sly kind of angle and twinkle in his eye. And when she saw the design, she's like, "Oh my God, it's so much better than what I thought it was going to be." That came out of a 10-minute talk with them in person.
Yep.
That's why I don't really like to do walk-ins or kind of impromptu tattoos anymore. Unless it's a special event, you're raising money for a charity, like, a pet shelter, and you're doing all like fun little animal tattoos or something. But, for a serious tattoo, yeah, you can't be talking to somebody in person.
Right. Yeah, it's going to create not only a completely different vibe in the tattoo and the artwork itself, but it's also going to be a representation of who you are and the fact that you actually care what this person gets done.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people come back to me over the years and say, "Well, I'm coming back to you because you care.
Yeah.
You're not going to let me make a dumb decision, and you're going to help me tease out what it is I'm really trying to say with this tattoo."
Sure.
And that can make or break a lifelong client.
Absolutely. Come on. You could tell I haven't painted in a while. I keep dropping my brushes every chance I get.
There's nothing wrong with that. Assuming, of course, you have a drop cloth down and paint's not getting splattered everywhere. But
no, it's not. I have a really cheap area rug that I got from Walmart for like $15. I'm like, that's my painting rug right there.
Hey, you know what? It's less expensive than a canvas drop cloth from like Home Depot or Lowe's.
And it's also nicer, it's like, I don't know. I don't like standing on plastic. I can avoid it. Or sitting, whatever.
Those are all blocked in.
Nice. Do I see some Art Nouveau inspired stuff on the bottom?
You might.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's going to be a very large Art Nouveau painting. It's something I've really been into in the past few months, is trying to get a better grasp and understanding of that specific style of art.
Sure. I love that style. And my ex, she went to art school, and that was her main focus, was Art Nouveau. And I just loved looking at her paintings. They were just, but it would take her forever to lay these things out. She was very precise about how she laid things out.
Yeah,
I like-
there's a definite process and science behind it.
Oh yeah. For that style, if I were to do it, I'd probably stick with like watercolors.
Yep, I'm actually in the process of finishing up, and I don't have it with me, otherwise I'd throw it up on camera real quick. I'm in the process of going through and finishing up a couple of different watercolor Art Nouveau style paintings. At any given time, I always have like 8 different paintings in the works that I'm currently working on, just because I've got such an attention issue that it's like I need to have multiple projects going on.
Yeah.
If I don't, I kind of think the world is ending. And I get such bad anxiety from just sitting down and being like, I should be doing something. What am I not doing?
Right. Recently, I've been in the habit of putting things on my calendar, but even mundane things like doing the dishes and taking out the trash, or answering emails, or making a phone call for a doctor's appointment. That way I can see, like, okay, I've got like an hour or 2 here that I can fill with like some art time or whatever. And it's really helped me stay focused, because I'm not, waking up on a day off going, okay, trying to go through a mental to-do list. I've got a visual one that's not, it doesn't fill my whole day. So it gives me some time to goof around, or, watch a movie or something, but still get important shit done.
Absolutely, man. My reminders in my phone, and that's what I always try to tell people. It's like, I live and die by my calendar.
Yeah.
If it's not in there, it's not happening.
Yep.
And it's one of the reasons, and I was having a discussion with the owner of the studio I currently work at about this the other day. And he's like, well, we've got this, administrative person that we hired to do the scheduling, to make appointments, to make phone calls and stuff like that. They've got like a whole checklist that they go through, and they do reminder emails and follow-ups and stuff like that. And I said, that's great, but like my calendar fluctuates quite a bit.
Oh,
Day
yeah.
to day, week to week, sometimes even hour to hour. I said, I need to make sure that I can keep track of that. And I want to make sure that I have access to that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If
Yeah.
it's a written appointment book, yeah, I can take a snapshot of it, but that's not going to tell me what's the most up to date.
Right. And things are going to change. Like after you take that snapshot, something's invariably going to change.
Yeah, I'll have someone hit me up on Instagram to reschedule. And it's like, okay, well, now I have to move that around.
Yeah.
So then it just becomes kind of annoying, because it's like all of these other changes may end up getting changed again, which means I have to stop what I'm doing and write it back in the appointment book, and,
Yeah.
go back through that whole process all over again, to make all of these different changes constantly. It's like, I might as well just keep it all in one place. And if you want, I'll share the calendar with you.
Right.
This way you can constantly see where I have openings, what's going on, when I'm free. And I said, but to me, it just makes sense to have it more electronic.
Yeah. I use the appointments, Square appointments, because I use Square for taking most of my payments. I love that.
Absolutely.
And Square appointments is awesome. And I've got it set up to put out a confirmation reminder 2 days before their appointment. That's been a lifesaver. Yeah, to have my whole life is on there. And I don't even have to have my iPad or my phone with me. If somebody else has got theirs, I can log in through that and check my calendar real easy.
Right.
The two
So
guys
I've been going through Google Calendar for probably 6 years now.
I liked Google Calendar a lot. I like the color coding that you could color code your appointments.
Right.
That was awesome. But I like the Square one because everything's there. All my customer info, because anytime I book a customer or they pay or anything like that, they're added to a customer file. So I've got all their info right there. So when I go to book an appointment, I just start typing in their name, their profile card comes up, I drop that in there. It sends them, when I book the appointment, it sends them a text and an email with their date and time and everything. It's stuff like that that Google Calendar didn't have, which is why I switched to
the Square.
one. Yeah, because it was kind of
That actually
all in
sounds
one place.
really nice.
I told you I like stuff simple, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I don't do phone calls. I don't do DMs or PMs on like Instagram or Facebook. It's email. That's the one way you get in touch with me, because now it's all in one place. All my references, all my communications are all right there, and I can search right through it. Okay, Jason L, and it'll bring up all your emails and
All of my OnlyFans messages that I've sent you, and
yeah.
it's funny, back during quarantine, not to get off topic, but
No.
back during quarantine, a few tattoo artists and myself were actually talking. We were going to start up an OnlyFans,
Yeah.
just to like showcase our tattoo portfolios.
Yeah.
So if people did want to help us out, like, it's like, cool, here's how you can help us out.
Right.
And we were thinking about like a cover photo. It's like, well, why don't we all just like wear our tattoo aprons and like no pants? Everyone's going to think we're naked. So, it might give us a little bit of an edge there, and it'll be kind of funny. I mean, we didn't end up doing it, but it
Boo.
was a thought. Would have definitely been something different.
Yeah. And I think, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about changing the way you advertise yourself and your business to appeal to some of the younger generation. It's what
Right.
you see a lot of tattooers now, just like, doing a lot of like TikTok videos. I had somebody recently tell me, please don't ever do TikTok. Like, I can't say I won't, but I can't deny, when I see they've got 497 likes on a little TikTok video of them doing something silly at the tattoo shop. I'm like, that's getting some attention. So it's got to go on my list of things of, possible ways to get seen.
I actually used to work with a guy who I call him TikTok famous because he's got like, several 100,000 people on TikTok that follow him. He gets bombarded with messages left and right on TikTok about, hey, how can I set up an appointment and stuff like that? And it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, more power to you. I said, but how are you keeping up with all those messages?
Yeah, right.
There's inevitably going to be people that are going to get upset at you because they're slipping through the cracks, because there's no way you can potentially keep up with all of those people. I said, so are you planning on hiring someone? He's like, honestly, I had never even thought about anything like that. And I said, well, you may want to think about it.
Yeah. I'm not quite that busy, but every once in a while, the idea of hiring somebody comes across my mind. And then I think about it and I'm like, I could do it. I just got to reorganize my life and, find the time. But hopefully at some point I do need to consider that, someone to answer emails and manage social media and all that.
Yeah, that's becoming a huge industry too, is people just dedicating their life to social media marketing,
Yeah.
calendar scheduling, appointments and stuff like that. That is a huge industry
Yep.
where they will go through and they will make posts for the business on the business account with different people's photos of work that they've done recently. You know, one post, one photo a week. That's all it takes, you know,
Yep.
but it's, are you busy enough and can you sustain having someone like that on staff at all times?
Right.
You know, me, I'm not very active on social media. It's something I'm not that I'm not good at it. I just prefer to put my time elsewhere,
Sure.
you know, and it's something that I'm trying to be better at, you know, making Instagram posts, and I have a TikTok. I'm never on it, but
Yeah.
you know, I do have one. And you know, I know if I put more effort into stuff like that, I'd probably be way more booked out than I am. But right now in life and in my career, I'm trying to focus on just becoming a better artist.
Sure.
And that's where I'm trying to put all of my time and focus. Because I know that regardless of Instagram and TikTok and social media advertising, if I'm not an artist that can back up what I'm trying to do, then why am I doing it?
Right. But one could argue that doubling your client base is gonna make you a better artist just for the sheer amount of tattoos, you know, that you'd be doing.
It's very true. It's a very
Or
valid
that
point.
pressure of looking at your calendar and going, damn, like I've got every day booked solid for 6 months. I need to get on this, and I need to, um, do whatever it takes to get the art better in time. But I mean, you're smart. We're all kind of smart. We're not going to take on stuff that we can't do just because, they saw you on TikTok or whatever. If somebody came at me and they said that, they wanted some crazy color geometric thing like Mike Cole or like Russ Abbott would do, I'd be like, I'm not that guy, man. Like, not yet. I want to do that, but I'm not that guy yet.
Right.
Check.
Yeah, I think that it's something that being artists, we always have to be kind of conscious of where we are and are we capable of delivering what a client asks of us and being honest with them about such things.
Sure. But with a little bit of room to push yourself. If you
Well,
just
yeah.
go into your skill level, you'll never go beyond it.
Yeah, like I had someone come in the other day and ask me if I could do a photorealism black and gray portrait for them. And I told them right off the bat, like, could I do it? Yes. Would it turn out okay? Yeah. Are there people out there that could probably do it way better than me? Absolutely.
All right.
Let me give you a few names.
Yeah.
Because I know that realism and anatomy specifically, is something that I constantly struggle with. And it's something that I'm actively trying to improve upon.
Sure.
But I know that if I can't draw it, I shouldn't be tattooing it. So I'm trying to get better at drawing it and understanding the subject matter first before I start taking more of a deep dive into things of that nature. And I was honest with him, like, I'll do it. It'll turn out pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are definitely people out there that are going to blow me away with the skills that they have.
Yeah.
So.
But at some point they had to start too. Like they had to
right.
bite that bullet and be like, all right, I'm going to do this. My first 3 portraits I did were all on friends. I had friends and clients, but I said, all right, I'm going to do 3 different types of portraits: a baby's face, someone famous, and then someone older. So I had a few different types of portraits to do. By the time I was done with the first one, it was a Roy Orbison, young Roy Orbison picture that we did. I was already like all right, I'm ready to just start doing these every day. It was so much fun. And then I did the other two, just to get them done. But I was terrified before I did that first one.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a guy that worked at the shop. I was at a Star Tattoo in Albuquerque, and this guy, Alex Werder, at the time was doing a lot of portrait work. And he gave me the confidence. He's like, look, man, here's how you want to do your stencil. Here's how you should, get your photo ready. He just made it so realistic, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Attainable.
Right.
You took the mystery out of it, But yeah, without him, I wouldn't have pushed myself to do those. Now I love doing them. I got one coming up in my schedule soon that I'm really looking forward to. But it's not my regular thing. So.
Looks like we're all right. So that's blocked in. What's next? We'll leave those leaves till later. And we are starting to get close to the deadline. So I'm probably going to go through and start closing some stuff down.
Do what you got to do, sir.
Yep. Well, Lou, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here.
Yeah, man, it's been great being here, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'd love to have you back on again sometime soon. Great conversations, great getting to know you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. It's a great reason for me to get off my lazy ass and sit in front of an easel for a little while and actually do some work. So thanks for putting this on for us, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, anytime. Yeah, we do this every Sunday at 1. So, hopefully we get to see you back on here again. Yeah, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you for joining us today. How can people get a hold of you?
On Instagram, I always screw this up. It's either Serenity Art Lou Gomes or Lou Gomes Serenity Art. The last one's the right one. LOUGOMES and then Serenity Art. It's super long and whatever, but that's the easiest way. And then my email and everything's on there. So
awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Folks out there that want to get a hold of me, my name is Jason Leeser. I work at the Inkwell Tattoo just outside Philadelphia in Southampton, PA. You can reach me on Instagram at Philly Inc. And hopefully we see you guys back here again next Sunday at 1 p.m. So thank you very much.